Greetings, Light Drive, Janine Palmer here, Spirit Silver Moon. For Harmony Energy Healing, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and a shamanic practitioner and Reiki practitioner. And I like to do these little videos on different subjects from time to time. And so this one is like a couple of the others I did before, which is oracles and incense. And this one's going to be talking briefly about ancestors. And I'm going to do an oracle card from a deck called Saints and Mystics by Andre Ingracia, and also pull just from one of my books something short for an oracle from that, like I've done before. First, I've got some copal incense here. I've got a candle going, so I'm just going to light it with that. So we'll do some copal incense here. Set our intention. Cleansing and clearing sacred space. And so when you do this kind of work, if you're going to do meditation or healing work or healing for anything, you can call in your ancestors, guides, angels, whatever you resonate with to help you for that healing session. Okay, so this deck, I'm sorry, it's backwards, of Saints and Mystics. So I shuffled and pulled a card, and the one I pulled is Saint Josephine Bakhita, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Okay, and this card is for release. So she is the patron saint of Sudan and sacrifice. I don't have my reading glasses on. I'm trying to read this. Feast day, February 8th. So it says, Saint Josephine Bakhita was a former child slave kidnapped from her home in Sudan by slave traders in the late 1800s. As a child and teenager, Josephine was sold to a number of cruel and vindictive masters before ending up with an Italian vice consul named Callisto and his wife Terina, who eventually took her back with him to Italy. As Italy did not accept slavery, Bakhita was declared a free woman, and she found solace and home with the Canossian Sisters. Pardon me if my pronunciation is not correct. A religious order who introduced her to the service and spirituality of their god. Bakhita translates as fortunate in Arabic. She took the name Sister Josephine and lived out her days caring for the sick and the suffering with gratitude and peace. Josephine was declared a saint in 1992 by Pope John Paul II and is the only saint from the country of Sudan. So the oracle meanings, there are three things here. Emotionally, she encourages all who call her to continue even when times are difficult and bleak. She urges us to let go of bitterness and find forgiveness in ourselves and others. Suffering is tremendously painful, but through sacrifice and transformation, freedom is possible. Spiritually, Saint Josephine governs the activations of the crown and heart chakras. However, when dire circumstances arise, she assists in strengthening the cord from the Earth Star chakra into the depths of Mother Earth. To anchor and remain grounded, Saint Josephine Bakhita releases toxic ties that bind and helps us see ways out of our spiritual and emotional bondage. Okay, consciously, Saint Josephine reveals our greatest strength from within and teaches the power of resilience amidst great challenges. Josephine comes through with strong and magnificent waves of energy as she aids you to turn inwards and rise with resilience. Where there are repeating cycles, Josephine will help you break free once and for all. There is nothing Josephine has endured that you cannot. So keep pushing on. Keep up the faith. Saint Josephine Bakhita watches over those who care for others and anyone who has or is currently suffering deep pain, abuse, or cruelty. Invocation. The bondage is broken, the change has come. Saint Josephine Bakhita, thy will is done. So that is a very cool deck and a good message, always, for many people. So the other one, I opened the book to a page and I put a bookmark in it. And so this is called Mystical Whispers of the Soul. And some people use these for oracles, so that's what I'm doing too. And the one that I opened it to says, how much truth uttered is coated with a bitterness and then misperceived. Okay. So sometimes what we speak from what is in us, what may or may not be healed, issues that may remain unresolved. Sometimes we carry resentment. Sometimes we feel bitter. And that comes out in our tone, in our behavior, in our patterns, and our habits. And these are things that sometimes might keep us stuck. They might interfere with smooth flowing relationships. So it's really good to be aware, to become aware of these things, because sometimes we don't know, we don't realize the extent of how bitter we might be about something, or how resentful we are, or what the energy of our comments are that just keep looping, and we just keep saying it with the same resentment or bitterness, okay, which really draws in what we experiences and or can keep us stuck. So I just wanted to bring that up for awareness. And what I wanted to talk about with regard to ancestors is kind of a reminder, because, you know, some cultures really value that, especially Native American, you know, connection with the ancestors, being very aware of that, honoring that, which I think is a incredibly important thing to do. But also in shamanic work, when we are doing work to shift something, to release something, we're doing healing work for ourselves, even ancestral healing, whatever it is, because that is needed. How did I want to say that? So we might call in our ancestors, because some of us realize they're around, some of us don't. It's something we can open up to. So we might call in ancestors, we might call in spirit guides, we might call in power animals, angels, ascended masters, whatever that is to the individual, if they are open to that helpfulness, because we have it on levels we don't even know, known and unknown. But when people really choose to tune into that, they can really make huge strides in healing and release. And then, so another reason I wanted to bring it up is to suggest or encourage that people write down things about themselves to pass down. So I have about 8 pages of typewritten words from my great-great-grandmother, who grew up around Civil War time. And it's very interesting to have that glimpse, that snapshot of what life was like back then, which is so different to what it is now. And even when she talked about her parents or siblings or children or neighbors, people acquaintances she learned things from, you can get a glimpse into other people that you never otherwise would never have known, not on the level of the human conscious mind now, how we're disconnected from things we don't remember, that comes down through the family line. Some people are intuitive and they do have flashes, they do have memories. But to leave something like that for the family to read generations later is, or can be, very powerful. Something for them to connect to, something for them to learn from. Okay, so, you know, these beings might be with us on levels we know or don't know. They might be working with us or through us. They might be very grateful for particular work we're doing in the world today, and are probably guiding us, like I said, on levels we probably really don't know. but when we do know, it's very cool. So it's just like to write down about, to, you know, people journal. Journaling's really good to keep record of things you go through, what you learn from them. Okay, what is important to you? What is life like? What was hard? What was beautiful? You know what I mean? To leave something behind for future generations to learn from, whatever that is. And we all do it in certain ways. Um, but I just like the fact that I'm so grateful to have that glimpse into my great great grandmother's lifetime that I wouldn't have if she hadn't left it behind. So I suppose that's it for now. Peace.